All right, it's time to do some quick review on quadratic equations. So what exactly is a quadratic equation? Well, a quadratic equation is actually any equation that can be put into the following form. This is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Now, here those values for a, b, and c are all assumed to be real values, and we want to make sure that a is not 0, just to make sure that we really do have a quadratic equation. If a is 0, that kind of eliminates that x squared term, and we need that x squared term to have a quadratic. Now, interesting enough, this form gets a special name. If it happens to be written in that y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, this is what we will call standard form. Now, you want to use this to identify whether equations are quadratic or not. And the definition is kind of odd. It says it can be written in this form, then you know it is a quadratic. So, if it already comes in one of these forms, like this first one that I have written here, 2x squared minus 3x plus 1, then it's pretty easy to identify as a quadratic. We can see that that 2 would be like our value of a, the negative 3 would be our value of b, and that 1 would be our value of c. Even ones that have fractions, as long as they fit the same form, then we know it is a quadratic equation. So sure enough, the second one, also quadratic. Negative 1/3 would be the value of a, plus 7 our value of b, and minus 5 the value of c. The third of these looks a little bit trickier. It looks like we're missing a value of b, like maybe we didn't put it in the proper form, but actually this one is also okay. This one's just been simplified a little bit. Our value of a would be that 4. For b, since there is no x term, we could think of this as a 0x, and then the minus 16. So by putting that 0 in there, it allows us to write it in the proper form. We know that it really is a quadratic equation. Other ones might be a little bit more difficult. You might have to do a little bit more multiplying or manipulating. But again, as long as it can be put into that form, you know it is quadratic. Let's take a look at the next one. So here, it definitely does not look like that quadratic form. But you know what? We can get it in that form. All we really need to do is take this x and start distributing it through that set of parentheses. In doing so, now it turns into this equation over here. Y equals x squared minus 6x plus 2, and that is in the proper standard form. Same thing with the next one. We see that it doesn't quite look like it's quadratic. It is quadratic, and of course it is quadratic because with a little bit of manipulation, it turns into this guy over here. It turns into y equals 2x squared plus 3x minus 2, and now it fits the proper form, and we can see those values of a, b, and c. So what do we really want to know about quadratics other than how we can recognize them or not? Well, when it comes to the graph of quadratics, a good thing to know is really just their basic shape. Quadratics have a very, very distinctive shape. They have a nice distinctive U shape to them. Now that U could be facing up, could be facing down, but it definitely continues in either direction infinitely. So these graphs don't contain a little arrow at the end, but you can go ahead and put one in if you want to really think of this as really extending out forever and ever. So these are just various different examples of some quadratic equations. The first one looks like it's a fairly simple one, something like y equals x squared. The other ones are a little bit more complicated. Since they're facing down, they're a little bit wider or narrower. All right, and that's just a little bit of the things you need to know for quadratic equations.
Hey guys, my name is Jess, the head of education here at Wise. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. If you want to see the complete course, please check out the link in the description. You can also go to one of our playlists to keep learning for free. If you want us to cover a specific course or a specific topic, please leave us a comment below. We post new videos every week, so don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the new stuff.